Hi, this is Harlan Kilstein. Years ago, I lived in a very small town in Pennsylvania called Yardley, about an hour's north of Philadelphia. And one of the things that I liked most about the house was that we were across the street from a lake. And on weekends, I would take my children, who were quite young at the time, and we would go across the street to fish for bass. There were smallmouth bass and largemouth bass there. And we could have a pretty good time catching fish and throwing them back, and my kids learned to really like fishing. And I remember going one day and seeing a bunch of kids at the side of the lake. And I asked them, "What are you doing?" And these kids, who were probably in their teens, said to me, "We're fishing for minnows." Now, in my mind, I had never heard of anybody wanting to fish for minnow, a really tiny fish. And I said, "Why are you fishing for minnows?" And they said, "Well, first we're going to fish for minnows, and then we're going to catch the minnows, and we're going to use them to catch really big bass." And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I said, "Well, why wouldn't you just go fishing for the really big bass right away? Who fishes for minnows?" Now, that's been my philosophy as a copywriter. And when I coach people as a copywriting coach, and especially in getting clients, I always want to know why people want to start by fishing for minnows. Why do they want to work for jobs that pay them $250, $500, $1,000, $2,000? Those are minnow jobs. What you want is to start fishing for whales. Now, a number of years ago, John Calton said that I broke copywriting. What did he mean by that? Well, he was amazed at the fact that people that I taught, people that I mentored, and people that I coached were commanding such high fees as copywriters. He said in amazement, "Harlan, you broke the system." In fact, I didn't break the system, I set it straight. A number of years ago, I taught, one time only, a seminar. It was called Value-Based Copywriting. It was about how to make the highest fees ever as a copywriter. Now, when I taught that seminar, it came with an amazing guarantee. It cost about $1,000 to get in. It was a 3-day seminar, and the guarantee was that if at the end of the 3rd day you didn't think that it was worth the money, not only would I refund your money, but I would also refund your plane ticket to Vegas. And not a single person refunded at that seminar. On the contrary, the people who were at that seminar went on to do really great things. The feedback at that seminar, fantastic. I'm about to share some of that feedback with you. Hey, it's Harlan. I'm back. I want to share some testimonials from people who were there. Jason Moffat. Now, Jason and I have been on and off buddies. Here's a testimonial he wrote after attending the seminar. "Last week I attended Dr. Harlan Kilstein's Value-Based Copywriting Seminar in Las Vegas. What transpired from that event was much more than I ever anticipated. I had actually decided not to attend the event because I was in the middle of a product launch and also had another deadline for a different project. So I emailed Harlan and told him thanks for the invite, but I was too slammed with work to attend the event. He replied with a brief email, 'You suck.' After giving it some thought, I quickly realized that missing this event would be a mistake. Between the networking that would take place and the chance to learn something more valuable copywriting info, it was obvious I should jump in the van and make the trek across the desert. I'm going to be blatantly honest here. I've never been a really big Kilstein fan. Something about his style never seemed to resonate with me very much. A few times we had butted heads in forums, but it wasn't really that big a deal. We're both big boys, and two of us have been known to be a bit controversial at times. Our personality types inevitably attract a bit of backlash on the net with our blunt and to-the-point style. No biggie. We verbally squabbled in print, then hung out like normal dudes. Even though I wasn't a rabid fan, I did respect his business ability and knew he had some good info to teach. I just had no idea it was this good. Because I'd already had a slight negative bias towards the man, I'd never really paid too much attention to what he said. Hey, I told you I was going to be blatantly honest. You know me. It wasn't until I heard him talking on the second set of Tactic 7 calls that my ears really shot up and took notice. The info inside of that call was worth pure gold, and Harlan was knocking the ball out of the park when discussing bringing proven offline buyers into your online marketing funnel. The Tactic 7 calls were probably the biggest driving factor that led me to jump inside the Ford and dart over to Sin City. Anyone who listened to those calls instantly realized that these guys were taking business to a whole different level. I knew I could learn some great stuff by attending. What I soaked up at the event was far beyond my expectations. First of all, his value-based copywriting methods are out of this world. I'm not kidding. If you're a copywriter and want to get out of the routine of writing sales letters on the cheap, this is the man you need to talk to. Harlan can show you how to earn what you are truly worth, and the clients will be happy to pay hefty fees for your services. I'm not sure if Harlan is going to sell his VBC course to the general public, but if it does, buy it at any cost. Personally, I felt the seminar he held was worth at least $10,000. This is no exaggeration either. However, each person will get different value out of it. People like myself will take those nuggets and run them all the way to the bank. Others will probably just let the material collect dust. It was blatantly obvious that there were some people there with a mind state that had it successfully embedded into their core, while others were just wishfully dreaming that they could one day charge huge fees for their copy. And I believe Harlan invited me because he knows I'm the type that will actually take action, and he's right. So I learned some absolutely brilliant stuff from Dr. Kilstein in Vegas, but this is really not what the post is about. Beyond learning about Harlan's business mindset and ability to attract high-paying clients, I discovered something much deeper about the man that I think many people are not aware of. Harlan's actually a very sincere man. It's a bit tough to notice on the periphery sometimes, but trust me, this guy had passion for helping people unlike others. During the seminar, I noticed things in Harlan that had previously escaped my vision. This guy was truly concerned about his students. He wanted to make a difference in their lives for the better, not just take their money for the seminar. There's a big difference between a true teacher and someone who just passes on information for cash. In today's jaded world of internet marketing, it's hard to tell who's just out there for a quick buck. Harlan understands that the success of his students directly reflects upon his legacy as a teacher. I'm positive he takes teaching very seriously, and it elates him to see students make positive changes in their business. But what I saw this weekend extended beyond just business. It was apparent that Harlan really cared about his students. Okay, I know what some of you are thinking. What kind of hypnotic trance did Harlan put you in, Jason? Trust me, I'm a very good judge of character. As a private investigator and a reformed habitual con man, I know a shady cat when I see them. I'll admit I had my guard up a bit, knowing that Harlan was involved in hypnosis. However, since I used to do a bit of self-hypnosis a decade ago, I wasn't too worried. I did the exercises with an open mind. It was harmless stuff anyways, nothing to be worried about. Harlan was cementing a positive mindset into us while using some really cool tools. I'm not sure you can get into a more positive mindset than what I've already got, but I was open to anchoring it further into my subconscious. Through the exercise and the 2 days I was present in Vegas, I saw a side to Dr. Kilstein I never would have guessed existed. I actually grew fond of the man and now appreciate him as a person much more than I had previous to the seminar. The admiration stemmed from witnessing his sincerity as a teacher and his willingness to help others. My impression of him had little to do with marketing skills or salesmanship. I already knew that existed, but it had much more to do with his persona. Don't get me wrong, the marketing stuff blew me away. However, the personal glimpse inside of who Harlan Kilstein was meant a bit more. I was glad to find out that Harlan is not the rude and obnoxious man that I had previously labeled him. In fact, he was quite the opposite. He's a driven, focused, and caring guy who really enjoys helping people out. His gracious gesture to invite me to his class will not be forgotten. It's going to make me a ton of cash and also help me see a different picture than the one I had in mind. Thanks, Harlan. It was great to see you had a good time with Brian, Keith, Wells, and the rest of the group. It was a great energy and allowed me to see a sincere side of you I didn't know existed. Your style has been abrasive at times. Maybe you did rub me the wrong way on occasions, but I'm glad I witnessed a side of you that makes me feel good about being your friend. Take care, Jason Moffat. P.S. If you're a copywriter and Harlan decides to release that seminar, it's a must-have. No, Harlan didn't hypnotize me to say it. I honestly know it can make a difference between whether or not you're a six-figure copywriter or someone who just writes sales letters for $1,000. Now, Michael Morgan. Mike sold his soul to Agora. He's become one of their top financial copywriters, and they are paying him so that he won't write for anyone else. Mike was at the Value-Based Copy seminar. Not to mention what you'll learn from Brian Keith about how he writes copy is worth the price in itself. It was worth way more than that to me. Throw in the exact techniques Harlan uses to get maximum ROI from each job, and they are worth $10K. Folks, if you are struggling to get higher fees for the value you provide, here's your answer. The more you use Harlan's strategies, the more money you'll make as a copywriter. Cheers, Mike. Now, Ray Edwards. If you don't know Ray, Ray is probably one of the most highly respected copywriters in the world. He's a minister, he's a fine person, and he is universally loved. What's the truth about Harlan Kilstein? I can't tell you the truth. You can't handle the truth. I went to the Value-Based Copywriting seminar in Vegas too, and it was the most valuable seminar I've been to, period, ever. Am I getting through? I'm not using hyperbole. My mind's still spinning with the implications of what I learned. Field reports? Maybe. Or maybe I'll just submerge like a Triton submarine and keep scooping up money, keeping the good news to myself. Run silent, run deep. Meanwhile, get the DVDs for sure, even if you can't afford them, especially if you can't afford them. Ray Edwards. Now, Ray, within weeks of attending the seminar, doubled and then tripled and by now has quadrupled his fees. If you'd like to go from a copywriter who is receiving 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, even 5,000 a letter to a copywriter who's receiving 15, 20, 30,000 or more a letter, you want to get in touch with me. You want to talk to me because I'm starting a group coaching program teaching the techniques of value-based copywriting. Now, I did produce a set of DVDs, and unfortunately, because of the lighting in the room, the DVDs are dark. The DVDs are nearly impossible to see. Doesn't mean that the content isn't gold. As a special guest at the seminar, I had copywriting superstar Brian Keith Voiles. After an hour, Brian asked permission to speak. Frankly, I was nervous. Brian Keith wants to speak after an hour. What is he going to say? He got up to the microphone and he said that for the past hour, the first hour, he had been listening to me. And he realized that had he known these techniques earlier on in the game, he would have made millions and millions and millions more. I'm starting a group coaching program on value-based copywriter. If you want to be one of the highest paid copywriters in the world and command the fees and respect that you deserve, you want to be part of this program. Private message me if you're serious. This is going to be an investment in your future, and it will pay for itself with the very first job that you score using my secrets. This is the key. This is what no one else out there teaches, and it's open now for a group coaching program. Get in touch with me through Facebook, private message me, go ahead and contact me at my office. Sandra can be reached at otcpublishing@gmail.com, or our number is 561-395-7400. This is going to be a total game changer. Don't miss it.